We have reached the final tactical threshold of Sun Tzu's third chapter. We've discussed what to do when you have the advantage, but war is rarely that generous. This lesson covers the most dangerous scenarios a commander can face: being equal to, or worse, vastly outnumbered by the enemy. In the Russia-Ukraine war, we've seen this lesson applied daily. A smaller nation uses the art of the underdog to stall a global superpower. Sun Tzu says, if you are equal in number, you can offer battle. But in an equal fight, numbers won't save you. The winner is determined by two things: pre-war preparation and a superior plan. Think of the early defense of Kiev. On paper, the forces meeting at Hostomel Airport and the Bucha-Irpin line were often numerically comparable in local skirmishes. The reason Ukraine held was preparation, the use of pre-sighted artillery, and the better plan of utilizing urban bottlenecks. When the numbers are equal, the victory goes to the side that did their homework. What if the enemy is larger but doesn't have enough to destroy you completely? Sun Tzu says, focus on the center and on maneuverability. Use defense, location, and deception. In the Donbass, we have seen Ukraine use exactly what Sun Tzu suggests. They outweight the enemy. They use full defense in fortified towns to bleed the larger force, then exit the situation quickly before they are surrounded. A smaller army that stays mobile and chooses its location wisely can frustrate a giant until the giant's momentum collapses. This is Sun Tzu's most vital warning for the underdog. If victory is impossible, do not engage. Move with swift lightness. Stay out of range. The worst thing a smaller army can do is stand its ground out of pride. Sun Tzu is blunt. An obstinate small force that waits for a larger force will be crushed. He commands us, never make a death stand. If you are vastly outnumbered, your only job is to escape and live to fight another day. Sun Tzu concludes with a warning to the sovereign, the politicians. He says a ruler brings misfortune to the army in three ways. 1. Hobbling, ordering an advance or retreat without knowing the reality on the ground. 2. Misgoverning, trying to run an army like a civilian bureaucracy. And 3. Inflexible leadership, not allowing officers to adapt to circumstances. We've seen reports of hobbling on both sides, but notably in the Russian command early in the war, where rigid, top-down orders allegedly forced convoys into kill zones, because the plan on paper didn't match the mud on the ground. When the bulwark of leadership is defective, the state becomes weak. To win, you need the 5 essentials. 1. Knowing when to fight. 2. Handling both superior and inferior forces. 3. A unified spirit, or morale. 4. Being prepared while the enemy is not. And 5. Military capacity without political interference. This leads us to the most famous quote in history. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. In Ukraine, we see knowing yourself in their high morale and knowing the enemy in their use of Western intelligence. When you know both, numbers become a secondary concern. Strategy becomes the ultimate equalizer. Remember, strength is a number, but victory is a choice. To summarize this lesson, strategy is the weapon of the smaller force. Equality. If numbers are even, the side with the better plans wins. The underdog. If outnumbered, stay mobile, stay defensive, and use deception. Survival. If vastly outnumbered, retreat. Pride is a death sentence. Survival is a strategy. The golden rule. Knowing yourself and your enemy turns the tide of 100 battles. In modern conflict, The bulwark of the state is the unity between the people, the military, and the leaders. When they are animated by the same spirit and allowed to adapt, even the smallest army can withstand the greatest storm. As we close the book on this lesson, we are left with the most vital realization of all. Force is finite, but strategy is infinite. We have explored the mathematics of the battlefield, but here at the end, Sun Tzu reminds us that numbers are only half the story. Whether you are equal to your opponent or facing overwhelming odds, the outcome is decided by your preparation and your perspective. Let's recap the final pillars of the underdog strategy. Tactical flexibility. When you are equal, outplan them. When you are fewer, outdefend them. When you are outmatched, outrun them. There is no shame in a strategic retreat. The only shame is a death stand that achieves nothing. The bulwark of leadership. A state is only as strong as the trust between its leaders and its soldiers. We've seen that hobbling an army with political interference is the fastest way to invite anarchy and defeat. The shared spirit. Victory belongs to the side where every rank, from the highest general to the newest recruit, is animated by the same purpose. Finally, we come to the cornerstone of all military thought, the knowledge of self and other. If you know the enemy and know yourself, the result of 100 battles is already decided in your favor. In the modern theater of Ukraine, this has meant the difference between a quick collapse and a sustained, sophisticated resistance. Stay prepared, stay unified, and always know your ground.